Ignore the haters. You are so far beyond them on today's Oberon Divination. Greetings everyone, I am Oberon, Lord of the Underworld and consort to the most lovely Hecate. Thank you for joining me on today's Elemental Synastry Reading. It is a divination technique which was given to me by the goddess upon our sacred marriage. It involves the tarot, the 5 elements, and astrology. Now this is a timeless collective reading, so take what resonates and discard what doesn't. And as always, use tarot to confirm what you already intuitively know, and do not take it as literal advice. And again, my heartfelt thanks for everyone who's joining us for the first time, as well as anyone who has been interacting with this content. Thank you again. Okay, so what I do is I pull a tarot card to see what is influencing each of the elements. And the first element that we start off with is the element of spirit, which is represented by the bell. And seems like we have the Queen of Swords, or I should say the inverted Queen of Swords. All right, so we've got a lot of, let's say, underhandedness and gossip happening. We have a lot of things happening in spirit, which seems to be rather rumor spreading, I guess you could call it. A lot of people have been talking behind our backs. A lot of people have been perhaps trying to cast us in a bad light. All these types of things, all these types of rumors, all these types of petty games being played, which really doesn't serve anyone. It really doesn't, make anything better for anyone. A lot of destructive attitudes, just really petty and very, very hurtful and very spiteful things being said. And this is what Spirit is trying to tell us. Now, the whole reading is eventually going to go back to Spirit, so that's kind of the main theme of this reading is, apparently we have a lot of eyes on us, and there is a lot of there's a lot of things being spread about us. So let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. Okay. Now the astrology die can represent possible outcomes or likely advice, those types of things. And what we have is the Sun in Gemini in the 8th house. Okay, let's move some stuff around. So the Sun, Gemini, 8th house. I roll once for the house, and I roll a second time for the decan. Okay, so we're in the first decan of Gemini. Wow, okay. So that first decan of Gemini is that the Lord of Restriction, or not necessarily the Lord of Restriction, the Lord of Shortened Force. It also means a lot of restriction. It's that 8 of Swords energy, and it's also ruled by Jupiter, but with that particular sense of how the 8 of Swords is placed, Jupiter is more kind of like this out of control expansion rather than this very directed sort of force which would benefit us more. So it's almost like having too many options with that particular first decan of Gemini. And with it being the Sun, we also have, pretty much within our psyches, within our personalities, there is something happening where maybe we might feel like we're a bit kind of spiraling a little bit because of this incoming gossip, or perhaps because we also don't know maybe perhaps where to go because of so many of these things happening. When we have a lot of, let's say, shady characters behind, working behind the scenes, it could be very difficult to know who to trust. And that's what I'm kind of getting with this Sun in the first decan of Gemini energy. It's also in the 8th house, house ruled by Scorpio has to deal with our inheritances. It could also sometimes deal even with, let's say, our transformations as well. And the message that I'm getting from all of those combined is that we really need to go to the heart of the matter. We really need to go to the underworld. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. It is the realm of the underworld, and so we really need to look within our sort of deepest, darkest, the recesses of our mind, those very deep, dark elements to us, to really find that bedrock within us again. We have too many things coming at us. We have too many, either with the rumors happening, with the options within that first decan of Gemini. Excuse me. We have so many things coming at us that it's really peering into our sort of shadow psyche and our shadow self to really grasp where we're at again, and to really kind of get a depth of our own clarity. And so, yeah, that's really the message of Spirit right now, is that it's saying to really dig deep within and to really analyze that and to really go into that, because not everything is as it seems. It's kind of hard to tell, who is friend or foe right now. We may feel like we're in that kind of a situation, and because we don't have that sort of steady anchor point within our lives, it could be very easy to again spiral and to not know exactly where to go. But the advice here is really tap into that 8th house energy. All right, let's move along. So the next element is the element of fire, and it is represented by the wand. Fire represents our drives, ambitions, desires. It's a wand because it's a very focused and direct energy. And let's see, what is influencing the element of fire, love? Okay. All right, the Three of Pentacles. So, okay, yes. So essentially what is happening is we're putting in the work when it comes to our drives and ambitions. We're putting in the work, and we're actually starting to get recognized for that. And yeah, we're so on a personal level, when it comes to what we want, we know what we want, we know where we're going, all this kind of stuff, and that can actually be, part of the reason why there is so much shadiness happening within the realm of the spirit. It's because we're starting to rise to the occasion. We're starting to rise to our own occasion, and of course, when anyone starts to really challenge themselves, and when anyone really starts to become the best version of themselves, it's really easy for all the haters on the sidelines to kind of point the finger and be like, oh, this or that or whatever. And there's a lot of armchair warriors out there. And so yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. That Three of Pentacles energy is really about starting to be recognized for what we're doing. It is the Lord of material works, and it's also ruled by Mars. So there's a lot of drive, there's a lot of ambition, and there's a lot of fire within what we're doing right now. So much that we're actually making waves and ripples. People may be starting to notice the change within us. They may be starting to notice, that their preconceived notions of who they thought that we were are completely unfounded, and it's completely different. And they're noticing our glow up and whatnot. And of course, instead of instead of perhaps being complimentary or supportive in some way, unfortunately, many times a lot of people feel the need to want to bring others back down to their level. It's like, wait a minute, you know, you're excelling a little bit too much. You're doing a little too good for yourself, and you're making the rest of us look bad. So, you know, we're gonna try and make you look bad to match us. Unfortunately, that's how it goes many of the times. But really, you know, as long as we stay focused on our drives and ambitions and what we desire, and as long as we still have that energy to really keep our vision going, you know, whatever is happening in spirit, all these rumors in spirit, and whatever people have to say and all that kind of stuff, it just kind of falls to the wayside. So yeah, basically, you know, keep the chin up, keep up the good work. So let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. All right, we've got Uranus in Virgo in the 7th house. Wow, okay. Let's move this around. All right, let's see what decan we're in. Okay, first decan. Okay. Yeah, so Libra can mean a couple things. Sometimes it means relationships, but or not. Sometimes it can mean romantic relationships and marriages, but I don't necessarily get that from this right now, especially with the rest of the reading. What I'm getting here is that it's really about more of our interpersonal relationships. Libra can also mean the relationships that we have with our peers. So yeah, this could be, let's say, co-workers. This could be people that we view on equal footing, and also the relationships of Libra also makes it somewhat of a formal type of relationship as well. Things which are, let's say, legally binding, I guess you could say. So yeah, this is, from what I'm getting with this, perhaps we're just killing it at work. You know, we are just where we're just showing people what we're really made of, and of course that really will inspire, or I should say incite, a lot of jealousy in others who maybe aren't doing what they need to be doing. You know, it's rather than focus on themselves, and rather than say, okay, well, you know, what can I do better? It's really easy to say, you know what, that person, you know, that person, they got problems or whatever, and so, you know, they start to spread rumors. They start to do underhanded things like you know, finding ways to sabotage us, and so we have that first decan of Virgo, which is the Lord of Prudence. It's really about taking things practical. It's that Eight of Swords, or not Eight of Swords, it's the Eight of Pentacles energy. It's when we really are just steadfast, and we really just kind of you know, keep to our business, and we keep on pressing on. Lord of Prudence is also ruled by the Sun, and it's amazing how we have the Sun here, and we also have the Sun ruling the Lord of Prudence. And so, you know, there's a lot of solar energy in it. It's really a message of, you know, sticking to what we know, sticking to ourselves, having confidence in ourselves, and just basically not being afraid to let our own selves shine, not being afraid to be who we are. Because guess what? Everyone's going to hate. And the more you put yourself out there, the better you do, the more people are going to hate. The more they're going to do those types of things to try and drag you back down. And this is really just saying, you know, regardless of however your peers may view you, regardless of however, you know, maybe this could even be, let's say, a jealous spouse. You know, that could resonate with some people as well. Whoever it is, or group of people that it is, you know, the advice here is to just say, look, you know what you want, you're doing it, and that's really all that matters. Also, with Uranus being the influencing planet there too, it does bring in a lot of rebelliousness. It does bring in a lot of, you know what, I don't care. It brings in that sort of energy and that sort of attitude as well. It's like, I don't care. I'm doing what I got to do, and that's the only thing that really matters. And I just got to be me. You can't please everyone, and even when you do try and please people, it still never ends up good for anyone, especially one's own self. When you try to please people, people pleasing is not the best way to go. It's a plight of many an empath. So far it really makes sense. Everything makes sense. Being able to shine bright, and then having a group of haters trying to knock us down. All right, let's move on to the next element. The element of air, which is represented by the sword, and the sword can represent our intellectual endeavors. It can represent our communicative efforts, throat chakra. Let's see what else. All those types of things. Element of air. Very quick moving, flighty energy. All right. What's happening in the element of air? All right. Ace of Pentacles. So, whatever it is that we're doing, we got to keep on doing it, because the Ace of Pentacles means that there is some type of windfall coming in. And especially with it related to the element of air, we're looking at a type of windfall. Pentacles can mean material gain. It could also mean spiritual gain. But whatever it is that we're doing, we are on the verge of seeing sort of the fruits of our labor, especially with our communicative efforts, especially with our intellectual pursuits. Maybe we've been studying really hard, and that's also part of our drives and ambitions. And it's that study that's going to lead us to, let's say, a promotion at work, or perhaps maybe, it's working towards a degree or some type of certificate of training, or something to that nature. That this is what it's suggesting, that, we're working hard towards something, and we're definitely going to see that material manifestation of that, or even that spiritual manifestation. Perhaps we could even be perfectly comfortable with where we're at as far as, let's say, employment goes, but now we are doing other things to enrich our lives. We are pursuing, we're reading more books. We're taking, we're doing micro learning. We're taking more classes online or whatnot. And now, we're starting to see a difference in our attitude. We're starting to see a difference in how we approach life. That can also be Ace of Pentacles energy. Also, with both of those types of energy, those learning types of energies that are coming into our life, we are also able to better articulate what we need. This could even be, let's say, studying a lot of psychology. After studying a lot of psychology, we're looking at options and better ways to communicate and express our needs. All right, excuse me. Okay, so yeah, let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. So we have Jupiter in Cancer in the 12th house. Wow, okay. It's been a while since we got some 12th house energy coming in. All right, let's see. And let's re-roll for the decan. 4, okay. Oh, that's Jupiter, not the North Node. Where did you go? I saw you. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So, Jupiter in the first decan of Cancer in the 12th house. Very interesting combination there. Okay. So, the first decan of Cancer is the Lord of Love. It is that Two of Cups energy. A lot of times it means a soulmate, but it could also be some type of new endeavor in which we have great passion for. In this particular case, I think that's what it is, especially with the rest of the reading too. So this is suggesting that, yeah, we have been learning something, or we have been working on something that has really had a profound change within us. The 12th house is... Oh, actually, that's not the 12th house. That's the 11th house. Let me move this over. Okay. Okay. So the 12th house is really about the house of reckoning. It's the house of endings, the house of conclusions. It is the... It's the last symbol of the zodiac before we flip back over to early spring. And so what we're having here is sort of an expansion through basically our passions. We're having an expansion through oh, I just got an earthquake alert on my phone, and I'm actually hearing the walls rattle a little bit. Huh. Well, if it gets really bad, I'll have to go duck and cover, but let's see. It doesn't look like anything can really fall on me, and I will probably not get hurt, so that's a good thing too. Okay. Feels like it's kind of over. Okay, so we have that expansive energy through the 12th house, the house of reckoning. It's a very deep spiritual house. It is a house of sort of those inner mysteries, and whatever it is that we've been focused on, it's been bringing out these inner mysteries within us. So it could have started off as something, let's say, of the more mundane world, but because we've been experiencing those deeper connections with what we've been learning, now it's sort of leading to these revelations. It's leading to something which is like, it's leading to those deeper meanings. And the whole thing is that it is fueled by that very sort of pure and innocent love of the Two of Cups. It is fueled by the very essence, the core, tapping into that source energy and really experiencing this sort of inner joy, this sort of a rekindling of having a passion for let's say life, or a passion for ourselves. And of course, everything, put together, it's really bringing in this sort of wealth of spiritual and even material abundance. It's kind of everything sort of coming together, everything that we've been studying, everything that we've been making an effort to learn and grow. Well, now that is coming to fruition with that Ace of Pentacles. It's saying, hey, I hear you. We're coming in with some abundance for you. So very nice reading so far. Here, let me take off the earthquake warning. There we go. Okay, let's move right along to the next element. It is the element of Pentacles, which is, or I should say, it's the element of Earth, which is represented by the Pentacles. And it can represent our spiritual and material gain, as we've just discussed with the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so what is influencing Pentacles? Love. All right. The inverted Hanged Man. Okay. So many times when we see the Hanged Man in his normal position, it's about a suspension. However, in the in the upright position, it changes a little bit. It generally means that it's causing some type of disruption to, or let's say a hasty action. Whatever it is, we're kind of to the point to where pretty much we're sort of having this sort of a revolution, I guess you could say, within the realm of Pentacles. Let's say in our spiritual realm, it's kind of like things are topsy-turvy, or perhaps, maybe a lot of these things we may feel a little bit put in haste because we don't know exactly where to stand. We don't know the exact procedure to take. And of course, when we're having these sort of deep revelations, it could be really easy to lose our way in how we approach things. Yeah. So in the realm of Pentacles, I'm kind of getting this maybe this type of uncertainty, maybe a certain a sort of lack of direction, and that would actually make sense because we have so much new energy coming in. And again, going back to the original element, the element of spirit, with all this gossip and all this underhandedness going on, maybe it could even feel like perhaps if this does resonate on the coworker level, it could also suggest that maybe we could feel like our employment might be a little bit thrown into jeopardy. That could also create that as well. But also at the same time, we have to really focus on the positives of what this reading is trying to tell us, is that, new things are coming in and we're actually starting to get recognized for what we're doing. So let's say if it's a work situation, even though there may be a lot of gossip and rumors being spread, to the people that matter, they know what's happening. They know the work that we're putting into it. They know exactly, they're seeing through all the illusions, and they see these revelations happening. They see that there's something going on to which, they see the fruits of our labor, basically. So even though we may have a sort of insecurity towards our own stability right now, when it's tied in with the rest of the reading, it feels more like just acknowledge it, but don't become lost in it. Don't think about it to the point to where it actually begins to manifest, or we start to see consequences to our own suspicions. Let's see what the astrology die have to say to that. Alright, so we have the North Node in Aries in the 7th house. Wow, more 7th house energy. And again, just like here, 1 second. Okay, 7. So we're in that middle decan of Aries. Yeah, so just like the other one, it's really about regaining our focus and control. Okay, let me line this up. Okay, so let's see. Middle decan of Aries. It's also the North Node. So pretty much what we're doing is we're coming into our sense of self. We're basically beginning to manifest the person that we need to be for ourselves. That's why we have that middle decan of Aries. The middle decan of Aries is the Lord of established strength, which is also, again, ruled by the sun. So there's a lot of solar energy. We have the sun here, we have the sun which rules this decan, and we have the sun which rules this decan. So a lot of solar energy, a lot of signs and direction, which is pointing to just us being ourselves. And it's interesting also that it's in the 7th house as well, because that's also telling us what we need to do in order to really reestablish that sense of stability within our lives, in order to rebalance the energy of Pentacles within our lives. And yeah, and again, with that North Node energy, it's really what we're supposed to become. We shouldn't feel bad that we are starting to get recognized for our work. We shouldn't feel bad that, we're starting to attract the attention of let's say, jealous haters or whatever. And because, even on a very deep mystical level, we've got this. We're the ones that have all the power in our pocket, so to speak. We're the ones who can take the elevated stance. So really have confidence in that, and harness that energy of Aries, harness the energy of the warrior, harness the energy of being that established strength, and make no apologies for it. It's that Queen of Wands energy. It's really about I'm going to do what I got to do, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, the 7th house, the house of either our marriages or our peers, co-workers, and whatnot. It's really about reclaiming and reasserting our sovereignty over them too. Our individuality, our sovereignty, our ability to be ourselves, and not be, not lose ourselves because of poor boundaries. Because that inverted hangman, it's already, being ruled by Neptune, it's already nebulous enough as it is. And it could be very easy to lose ourselves within that. So, yeah, don't forget to channel the energy of the individual. It's not just about, dissolving ourselves into universal consciousness, but it's also about harnessing our own individuality to be able to create that fine line, to be able to manifest, and to be able to do and operate on the 3D as well, so that we are not just floating off into the etheric, the ether, I should say. Let's see. Okay, let's move along to the last element of cups, which is to the last element of water, which is represented by the cups. I've been getting those backwards a lot today. Maybe it is a time of inversion, I don't know. Okay. So what is influencing water? Water represents our emotions, our intuition, those sort of deeper layers within our psyche. Okay, water. 3 of Cups. All right. Let me put these cards over here. So that 3 of Cups is the Lord of Abundance. And yeah, it's really about, it can mean a couple of different things. This to me feels like an expansion of our emotional awareness, an expansion of our intuitive abilities, of our spiritual capabilities too, which of course, with this whole Ace of Pentacles and Swords energy, that would make a lot of sense too. So despite all the turmoil, and despite all of, let's say, us losing ourselves in the realm of the material and perhaps even the spirit, we are still experiencing that expansion within our emotional and intuitive state. There is definitely an abundance coming in, or I should say we feel abundant. We feel like on that level, again, because we have this deep 12th house energy coming in, we feel like we have the tools to be able to handle ourselves emotionally in this situation, especially with the situation of the rumors and the situation of all this backhandedness which is happening possibly at work or in our relationships. But yeah, despite all of that, we really do feel like we have a handle on it. And that's a very good thing. There's nothing worse than being caught in some type of situation like this, especially with the people who are very close to us. And then, our emotional states start to break down because, those are the people who can hurt and manipulate us the most. Sometimes those are the people that we are the most vulnerable to. It's the people that we either see every day or the people that we are very close to. And yeah, we could feel like things can unravel very quickly, but that's not the case here. This means that we already have a wealth of emotional intelligence, and there is even more coming in to be able to help guide us through whatever it is that we're going through. And as long as we trust that emotional layer within us, well, guess what? This inverted hangman, this energy of uncertainty will definitely start to subside. We'll be able to reestablish our firm ground again. We'll be able to reestablish that stability within our life. Okay, let's see what the astrology die have to say to this. So we've got the moon in Aries in the 12th house. Wow. Lots of lunar energy. Lots of Aries energy. I should say lots of 12th house energy too. Okay. What decan are we in? Okay, so we got a 7. So we are in the middle decan of Aries again. Lots of Lord of Established Strength. And of course, the Lord of Established Strength is ruled by the sun. So lots of solar energy. Okay. So, yeah. Pretty much with that 12th house energy, especially with the moon in this 12th house, we know that on a deep emotional level, we have the tools that we need. We know on a deep emotional level and intuitive level, that we have that strong foundation, at least within those types of realms. Even though it may cause some instability here, beneath that, we know who we are. We are that Lord of Established Strength. We are, and we feel it. We feel it in our bones on a very deep level. So with everything that we've been learning, with everything we've been going through, we know that these are all lessons to make us stronger. We know that we feel confident in our abilities because of what we've been through and what we've been learning. So yeah. And again, the 12th house, it's really about, like I said, it's a house of reckoning, it's a house of endings. So we already know it. We're so far beyond whatever this pettiness is happening here that it's almost like it doesn't even faze us. It's almost like we feel sorry for the pettiness which is happening around us, because we're seeing things from such a high vantage point that we can see everything coming at us. And it's almost like, well, again, it's petty, and it's sad that we can't be better allies or work things out better, because we already know what we have to offer, and it's actually a lot. But still, with this element right there, I would say it. In fact, I mean, that's this Pentacle reading right there. That's the only one which has any type of, let's say, instability or insecurity about it. And it's not even necessarily an instability or an insecurity. It just means that, that inverted hangman, it could be that, there's just so much coming to us. We're kind of in this liminal space. We've had so much knowledge coming in, so much deep knowledge, and again, let's say with that Uranus there too, kind of telling us to just be what we got to be. It's sort of like this rapid change which is kind of happening, and when things happen a little bit too quick, that could lead to us feeling like we have shaky foundations, like maybe the ground underneath us isn't as solid as we thought. But really, whatever is happening, as long as we trust ourselves at the core level and at the emotional, intuitive level, then we'll be fine. This will eventually pass, and so will this. The important thing here is the Three of Pentacles energy, which is really all about that recognition. It's really all about the fact that, to the people that matter, we know that our drives, our desires, our ambitions, that, to the people that matter, they're recognizing that. And so again, it doesn't matter what the pawns are saying. The only thing that matters is the people that matter, what they think. And again, ultimately, the only thing that matters is what we feel and what we think, because we have all this deep mystical knowledge at our disposal, and we know we feel that abundance within that emotional and that intellectual realm. So let's see. All right, let's move on to some of the aspects. So we have some conjunctions here, almost a conjunction there. So these two are in conjunction. That makes a lot of sense. So those energies are amplified even more. Whatever we've been studying, it amplifies what we've been feeling. Whatever we've been feeling, it amplifies what we've been studying. They kind of go in this loop to where, I should say, this synergistic loop where, as we dive into this deep mysticism, we know exactly where we stand. And both of these are actually very positive too. So that's good. That's good. Trust what we've been studying. Trust what we're feeling, because both of these elements are very strong. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? 30, 120. That's almost trined. Not quite. And let's see. Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so then that too also makes sense. So Earth and water are in conjunct, and that totally makes sense, because on one hand we feel this emotional abundance, but on the other hand we feel this sort of material, I don't want to necessarily say lack, but we feel this sort of material let's just say it's a little bit uncertain. But the message behind this, because these are both Aries and these are both the Lord of established strength, so regardless of these being in conjunct with each other, the Lord of established strength rules it both. And it's pretty much telling us to tap in, and again, it's ruled by the sun, so it's telling us to pretty much tap into who we are. We know who we are, and even though we may feel conflicted between these two elements, the commonality is, or the common points between this is that first or that middle decan of Aries, and that's really relying upon ourselves to get us through it. Overall, this reading is actually very positive, because it points that we are more than capable of having the tools to be able to do what we have to do. It's better than just saying, everything is insecure, everything is crumbling and whatnot. I mean, this isn't suggesting that at all. This is actually very positive. We may be experiencing rumors, we may be experiencing being around a lot of people who perhaps are jealous of our abilities, but that really doesn't matter, because we are so far beyond that we are equipped to deal with it. And yes. And again, this could even be something some of the reading or some of the reason why maybe that pentacle energy is a bit uncertain is also because it could be a new job as well. You start at a new place, you excel at it very quickly, and of course, the coworkers who have been working there for a while, they're kind of looking at you like, well, who do you think you are, type of thing. So that could be some of the instability too. That may resonate for some. Let's see, what else? Do we have any other aspects? No, that's pretty much it. So these two are in conjunct, and these two are conjunct. And I think, I think I will take it to the extended reading from there. If you're interested in that, then check out my Discord. The link is in the description, and I'll be pulling out some oracle decks to get some further clarification on this particular reading. Again, if you resonate with this reading, then feel free to leave a comment or a like or subscribe. And thank you for joining us on this Elemental Synastry reading. And may Hecate illuminate your path and guide you at the crossroads.